Hello everyone, welcome to the Tech Tuesdays webinar on what's new in cloud data integration with Spring 2020 release. This webinar will walk you through the new capabilities of Cloud Data Integration Service as part of Spring 2020 launch and understand how to leverage them in your integration flows. The presenter for this session is Meenakshi Vasudevan from Informatica's product management team. She drives the product roadmap for Informatica's Cloud Data Integration Service, operational insights primarily focusing on enabling customers on their cloud modernization. Meenakshi has over 10 years of experience in product development and management experience. Before we start this webinar, here are some housekeeping tips. This webinar is for 1 hour that it will include a 45 minutes webcast, and then we will roll over to live for 15 minutes to answer your queries. All dial-in participants will be muted so that the presenter will be able to present without any interruptions. Your questions can be submitted through the Q&A section and we will be addressing them to the end of the presentation. The webinar will be recorded and will be available in the Informatica Support YouTube channel and the Success Portal. The link will be emailed to you. Please set aside some time to complete the post-webinar survey and provide your feedback and suggestions for upcoming topics for the Tech Tuesdays webinars. The Tech Tuesdays webinars is a webinar series introduced within the Success Portal. The Informatica Success Portal is a micro-learning platform that offers free and unlimited learning to all registered users. The Success Portal lists your success offerings, your customer success manager information, bookings available in the Ask an Expert session, and customized recommendation and content. A new intelligent virtual assistant, Diana, is available in the Success Portal for all our cloud customers. Over to you, Meenakshi.
Thank you for the introduction, and thank you everyone for joining this session. So here's my agenda for today's session. I would like to cover the key enhancements that we have done in the Cloud Data Integration Service as part of our Spring 2020 release. And these enhancements cut across the core data warehousing capabilities of the service and usability, and I would also highlight a couple of connectivity enhancements that we have done in this release. And I would also like to share information on the new preview that we are doing for our serverless offering, and at the end would add a demo on the operational insights service and what the capabilities are for the service. But before I dive into the features, I wanted to spend a couple of minutes to share the architectures and how the patterns that we are seeing across our customers today. So for customers, like you, building data warehouses that are new or expanding their existing cloud data warehouses to for analytics purposes, machine learning projects, or who are migrating, enterprises who want to migrate from their on-premise to the cloud data warehouses as well, right? These seem to be the pattern that we have seen across our customers, and I would like to highlight how Informatica Cloud in general fits into these patterns as well, right? So people try to use our ingestion capabilities to get the data onto the data lake or the data warehouse, right, before we have this using our file mass ingestion, the database ingestion, and streaming ingestion capabilities specifically catered towards each of these different types of data that you want to ingest on. And once the data is landed, it has landed onto the cloud data lake or data warehouse, that's where you need to have, data integration for cleaning the data, for transforming the data, and augmenting the data, right? So that's where you have cloud data integration and cloud data quality services of Informatica Cloud help with the process. And once that is done, we also have the data provisioning, where you can leverage those to land this data onto the data warehouse and be and then your business users can consume this data, right, as a self-service for their ad hoc reporting purposes and analytics purposes. So with this said, just wanted to share kind of what the architecture that we are seeing across our customers and how we are able to help in this entire journey. So like in the previous slide, what we saw, what we see here is the three big pillars or the three major activities when you're building or enhancing your cloud data warehouse, right? Is data integration, data quality, and also the metadata management to be able to understand the data that you have, to be able to discover the data that you want and be able to see the impact. There's data governance, right? So, but in today's session, we would talk primarily about the enhancements that we have done in the cloud data integration space for the Spring 2020 release. So moving on, so data warehousing capabilities. Right? So we have added a lot of transformation enhancements. There are additions to the parameterization capabilities that we already support. And there are also new features that we have added in our orchestration task flow designer as well. So the next few minutes, I will try to spend across covering these features that we have. So when it comes to transformation capabilities, to highlight the first few, we have added the transaction control transformation in the release. So in the mapping designer, now you will be able to see the transaction control transformation and be able to use it in any of the pipelines, right? We have also added capabilities to be able to create target files dynamically. You can create them using expressions, system variables like, a system timestamp or task name. Also, those are also available for you to be able to create the target file name. A couple of additional enhancements that we have done to union transformation and lookup transformation. Union transformation can now support more than two input groups, and we have added properties to the lookup transformation to support cache lookup, persistent lookups. Moving on, so there are other capabilities that we have added are, in the target. Now you can also do the target update SQL override, and that is supported for all our relational targets like Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server. And another capability which was very popular among our customers who are familiar with Power Center was the target load order. When you have multiple pipelines that are drawn in the same target, same mapping, sorry, you can organize which one is executed first. And we call this capability flow run order. This is available at a mapping level, as you can see. And now you can, you can now design and configure the pipeline that needs to be executed first when you have multiple pipelines in the mapping as well. So there are a lot more transformation enhancements that we have added. So just to have a quick recap of everything that we have added. So we add core data integration, warehousing transformation enhancements, and there is also data quality transformations that are available as part of the mapping designer itself. So as part of the Spring 2020 release, we are adding parser and deduplicate transformations to be consumed within the mapping designer. And if you have seen it, we already have the ability to include a rule and a verifier from data quality as part of the mapping in data integration. There are also enhancements that have been made to the structured parser transformation, which is primarily for parsing hierarchical unstructured data like JSON, where you can discover the structure. And we've also started supporting pass-through fields for the structure parser, and you'll be able to now use Kafka as well as a source for the structure parser transformation. So this is just a recap of all the transformation enhancements that we have done. And the next, I would like to highlight the parameterization capabilities that we have added. So our customers have always, wanted more reuse for the mappings and mapping tasks that they develop in the cloud data integration. And keeping in mind those capabilities, there are a couple of really new enhancements that we have done, which are like, you can now have the parameter file stored in a cloud storage. It doesn't have to be on the agent or in your local network anymore. And we will access these parameter files using your cloud connections like S3 or ADLS. And another thing that I would like to highlight is, as the use of parameters grows, it also becomes difficult to have the parameter file. So one of the things that we added as part of this release is that now you can automatically generate a template for your parameter file. So as you can see in the screenshot, so this gives you a template which all the parameter values that you can add. And it's a stub for the parameter file, and you can go back and edit this parameter file and place it anywhere in your local systems or in S3 or other storages as well. So we've also added other capabilities for parameterization around pre-post SQL statements that you can do, and lookup SQL overrides. These can be now partially parameterized using the in-out parameters. And we've also added the ability to parameterize request messages for Workday. So if you're using a Workday or Oracle Financials source, you can now parameterize the request message, and the entire request message can be passed using the mapping task or REST APIs as well. So the next couple of things that I wanted to cover are on the task flow side. So as you all know, we have our task flow designer, which you can use to orchestrate tasks to be run in parallel, in sequence. And the last couple of releases, we added command task, notification task to the task flow. In this release, the two main capabilities that we have added are the ingestion step. So now you can include the file mass ingestion tasks as part of the task flow itself. And you can, the other thing is the file watch step. So in the previous release, we added the capability to be able to trigger task flows on file arrival. Here we have added the file watch capability, where midstream in the task flow, now you can use the file watch step to wait for a file arrival and then continue with the orchestration. This uses our file listener component, which is part of cloud data integration as well. So that covers pretty much the data warehousing capabilities that that we have added as part of the Spring 2020 release. The next couple of minutes, I want to go over some of the major usability enhancements that we have added in this release. To begin with, this is one of the most requested features for the cloud data integration service itself, right? So in the mapping designer, now we have added the capability to do a midstream data preview. So as designers, as developers, as you build your mapping in the mapping designer, now you can see the output of every transformation as you build. So you can do a data preview, you can pick a secure agent, and you can see the data preview, and we will be able to see that in the designer itself. And it is still privilege controlled. So only if your org users have the ability or the privilege to view data preview, they will be able to see this information. This helps reduce the development time significantly, because you don't have to wait now to build an entire valid mapping and run it to see the output of the mapping. You can see the outputs as you build the mapping itself. The mapping has to be valid just up to the point where you want to see the preview for. So you don't have to even build out the entire mapping. And another additional thing that we added was you can also download the results of the preview. So if you wanted to really compare what's the change or between two transformations or between two previous runs, you can download the results as a simple CSV file and use that for comparison as well. Other than a couple of enhancements around the session log. So yeah, session log is the primary place where for debugging task failures. So we have been adding a lot of enhancements to the error log, session logs, so that it makes it easy for our customers to go and debug and fix the issues. Some of these enhancements now include, we have made it a little bit verbose, so you can understand, you can identify very easily the agent, the task, the name and IDs and everything that are there. We've also added time zone information to the session log, and there is also additional information on the transformations whenever there is a transformation error in the session log. So the next topic that I wanted to cover as part of this session is the operational insights piece. So as part of operational insights, before I dive into what's new, I kind of wanted to give an overall overview of the service itself. So operational insights is our monitoring service where you can monitor all of Informatica infrastructure as well as environments. It's for both power on-premise products like Power Center, data quality, and we have also added monitoring for cloud services. So with this release, what you would be able to see in the operational insights service is specifically for the cloud services is infrastructure monitoring, which by that you can now see the secure agent health, the uptime of the secure agent, what is the resource that's being consumed, the CPU and the memory utilization of the secure agents, and you will also be able to set alerts on certain thresholds. Like you can send alerts if the secure agent is down for a certain amount of time or the CPU usage goes beyond a certain threshold. So that is available for all your orgs as part of the operational insight service. And couple of things that we have added on the cloud data integration jobs. So you can now use operational insights to see aggregated analytics and visual dashboards for the cloud data integration jobs that you have run in your org. And the idea behind operational insights is we will be able to have more information on the job details. So we have a last 30 days worth of job detail information. So you'll be able to see some history and be able to identify some trends and gain those insights, right, on your own usage and resource consumption of your org. The other thing is we are also introducing a preview of the operational insights capability for our cloud application integration service. So any customers who are interested in signing up for the preview, please reach out, and we would be happy to include the licenses in your orgs and get some feedback from you. So just another thing that I wanted to add here was on the overall availability of the service itself. So operational insights is now available on all pods with the spring release. So you will be able to see this, and this is the integration base includes the monitoring for secure agents. And if you have the cloud data integration service or edition enabled, you would be able to do the cloud data integration monitoring, and that is also included. In case you don't see the service available to you, and you please reach out to your customer success manager, or you can raise a support ticket case, and we will be able to enable the licenses for your orgs. So with that said, I just wanted to highlight a couple of new enhancements that we have added for the cloud data integration monitoring in the operational insights service. So as you know, we initially have added some visual dashboards on the aggregated view of the jobs that are run in the org. A couple of other visualizations that we added are like a heat map. So you will now be able to identify the peak times for your jobs and be able to optimize resources and schedules based on that. We also added a capability where you can see the number of jobs that are being scheduled to run in the next 24 hours. So, so far we've been able to see the jobs that previously ran, and with this now you will also be able to see what's going to come up as part of your schedules in the next 24 hours as well. Another thing that we added is the historical job runs. So if you go to operational insights for every asset that has been run, now we will be able to show you the historical run, like if it's been run every day, the last every hour in the last 20 days, 30 days, you will be able to see. And we also visually you can see that volume that has been processed. The idea is, if it starts failing, you will be able to go back to see the history of what was the first failure, or if the volume that it has processed is really low or the time it took was really high, you will be able to spot those anomalies for any of these jobs. And additionally, what we added as part of this release is a lot of customers who tried these surveys also wanted to see be able to download this information, like for this job details for their own reporting and compliance purposes. So we have also included the ability to export the job detail information that we show you as a simple CSV file. And that's, you can download it as many times as you want, and you can go back and get information up to the last 30 days of job data. A couple of other visualizations that we added is we added a widget to show activity at a project or a folder level. So there are a lot of customers who organize their assets based on the multiple projects and initiatives that they have in their organization, and be able to quickly identify what is the success rate of the jobs that are run in that particular project, or is there any failure, or what is the trend of failures or successes of your jobs, right? It also includes the volume that each of these jobs are processing at an aggregate level. Another thing that we added was we added the capability to identify jobs at a secure agent level. Earlier it was at a runtime level. Now we have increased the granularity to be able to compare the loads and be able to see what is the jobs that are being executed at a secure agent level in your org. So you can now compare, you can see how your resources are being utilized, and you can take these as inputs for optimizing the resource and scheduling your data integration jobs as well. Yeah, now I would like to talk about the new serverless runtime offering that we have introduced in the Spring 2020 release. So we are running a preview program for this after the Spring release, and customers who are interested, please feel free to reach out to us. So what do we, at a very high level, what do we mean by the serverless offering is this? So along with maintaining the metadata management of the integration jobs, Informatica will also extend the management of the secure agents, the compute engines as well, in the serverless offering. And by that, what we mean is, the customers no longer have to download, install, and manage secure agents or servers on their premise. Informatica will spin up a VPC, virtual private cloud, for the customers, and that communication with the customer's VPC where the data is will all be through private links. So, by this, you automatically get not just the, management of the servers, you get high availability, auto scaling capabilities, and, this is completely isolated in the sense that it is a single tenant per customer. And you also get the resiliency that you get with the platform itself. And this is also compliant in the sense we have HIPAA compliance, SOC 2 and PCI compliances as well. So this is currently available only on the AWS ecosystem. We are extending it on the Azure ecosystem as well, which is on our roadmap. And we support cloud data integration and cloud data integration elastic services today in the serverless mode. And as I said earlier, if you're interested, we would love to have you participate in the preview program. Please reach out to us. So then I will also show you how this is set up as part of the demo on a very couple of quick screens. The next thing that I wanted to cover in the session is on the connectivity pieces. So every release, we have a lot of new capabilities, new connectors, enhancing features for our existing connectors as part of every release, right? This release, there has been a lot of enhancements towards push-down capabilities. So we are introducing what we call the ecosystem push-down, where if you're moving data from S3 to Redshift, we will be using now the native connectors, and you'll be able to push down data instead of having to move the data from S3 buckets to Redshift. So you will also avoid the ingress outgress charges that you would typically incur when you're using S3 and Redshift here. And currently the supported transformations are limited. We are working on enhancing the transformations in the roadmap. Uh, uh, Other push-down capabilities are very specific to the Snowflake connector. We have enhanced the transformations that we support push-down for, and this is via our ODBC connector for Snowflake. And we also have a lot of ecosystem-specific enhancements that we have made on the Azure Synapse blob storage ADLS Gen 2 connectors. I have called them, all of them out, and each of them require their own dedicated session. So I strongly encourage you go through what's new, guides on the connectors to get more details on each of these ecosystems and connectors. So with this, I'm going to jump over and quickly show you a demo of some of the new capabilities. I'll touch on the serverless runtime environments and operational insights as well. Yeah. So in the next few minutes, I would like to quickly cover some of the enhancements that we discussed as part of the demo. So if you look at the mapping designer itself, I wanted to show the new transformations that we added, the midstream data preview that we did. So to start with the midstream data preview, as you can see here, you see the preview data tab here, and you can do a run preview. And once you do that, you pick a secure agent against which you want to run the preview. The preview, as I mentioned earlier in the session, it's run as a job. And once the preview results are available, you will be able to see the data here. And this is a completed mapping, so I could move on to any other transformations as well and do the same preview. While the results come up, a couple of other things that I wanted to show you are the new transformation. So yeah, so we have the preview results now. So you can see this is the output of the lookup that I have midstream, and I have run the preview, and I can see the preview results here as I can scroll, and I can also download the preview results. And if I have to do the preview again at anywhere else in the transformation mapping pipeline, I could do it at that particular transformation point itself. So I don't even have to do this entire filter configured to do a preview here. To go back to the new transformations that we have added, is you can see the deduplicate transformations for data quality has been added. We have the parse transformation, the verifier transformation, and the transaction control, which we added as part of the R34 release as well. So these are some of the things that we have added in the mapping designer itself. And now I would like to maybe take a minute or two to show the serverless runtime and where it is configured. So if you go to the administrative service, when we have the licenses enabled for serverless offering, you will see after the runtime environments, we have a new tab called serverless runtime environments. So this is the serverless runtime environment that we spin up on the virtual private cloud of the customers, right? So if you see, this is very similar. You provide us the details on the AWS, VPC IDs and where we should bring up the secure agents, and we would start doing it. And these agents are, as I said earlier, it's auto managed, and no change to the existing design time or tasks, and you can just pick as part of the runtime environment, instead of a regular runtime environment, you can now pick a serverless runtime environment as part of the data integration jobs, or the data CDI elastic jobs that you have run. So the next few minutes, maybe I would like to spend on the operational insights service. So like I said, the operational insights is a single place to monitor all of Informatica's environments and infrastructure. So if you have seen the service before, so this is available to you from the service switcher. And if you go to the service, you can configure Power Center, on-premise domains as well. All the secure agents that are associated in the org can also be monitored from here. So if I click on all infrastructure, this shows me the list of all the secure agents, and and the services that are running at each secure agent as well. So I can click here to see the resource consumption, the memory utilization, CPU utilization for the secure agents, and for each of the secure agents that are running in this org. Right, and we can also set alerts. So if the secure agent is unavailable, or you have you want to be able to alerted when the CPU threshold or the memory consumption for a particular secure agent goes beyond a certain threshold, those can also be done through the alerts at the secure agent level here. Let me just come back to that. So the other thing that I wanted to highlight are what we have added for the data integration job analytics itself. As you can see, these are the aggregated visual dashboards that we have added for data integration jobs. So you can see at a high level what are the jobs that have been running, what is scheduled, how is the load distributed across your secure agents, and each of these is a drill down. So you can click on them and you can go and see the list of jobs that have actually contributed. You can also see the sources and targets through which you are actually reading and writing data from, and from a project's perspective. And this is a nice visualization which will, the jobs heat map which we added, it kind of helps us understand what are the peak periods, what are the critical times, where is the, at which you're running your data integration jobs. Just one more thing that I would like to show you here is the job history that we have added for each of the assets. So if you click on any of the assets out here, what you will be able to see is the previous historical runs of the asset. So you'll be able to see the rows that they have processed. So this is an nice behaving asset, so it seems to be processing the same, but you will be able to spot anomalies, and if something goes wrong, you'll be able to go back in time a little bit to understand the history of the job and be able to debug the failure easier. So those are the things that are available for data integration. And like I said, we're also doing a preview for application integration, and you can also sign up for application integration preview if you're interested. So on the so as you can see, this is the CPU usage, memory usage, and this is provided by a service level. So each secure agent runs multiple services, and what is the data integration service, or if you have a application integration, is your process server consuming a lot of CPU, right? You'll be able to get that granular information as well. And the other thing which I wanted to highlight was on the alerts. So you will now be able to set alerts for secure agents, for Power Center domains as well, and also on secure agents if the CPU usage or memory usage goes beyond a certain threshold, or if it's unavailable. With the R34 release, we have also added the capability to do the same thing at a service level. So you can add service-specific alerts. For data integration server, or for a process server, that can also be done. So with this, I would like to open up the session for more Q&A. So please chime in for any questions that you have. You can type it in the chat box, and we will. I'll try to answer as much as I can. And thank you. Thanks again for attending the session.
Hi everyone, we are open for Q&A section. Please post your questions in the Q&A box. Meenakshi, do you want to answer this question from when is this available by subscription?
So quick question on that. So if we are talking about the serverless feature that I just described as preview, it is slated to be available as a subscription, general availability by end of this year.
Okay. We have another question. Is analytics included or additional licensing?
So analytics is part of the license for any existing data integration customers. So if you have licenses for the data integration subscription, then you get the analytics for data integration and secure agent monitoring as part of that itself.
Okay. Another question from Koi. How to get to heat map?
How to get to the heat map is on the services, service switcher. You can click on the operational insights page, and once you go to the operational insights page, on the left you will see all infrastructure data integration. Click on data integration, and then you will be able to see the jobs heat map as well.
Another question from Antuvan. Currently, there are no connections available to connect SAP, BW, Open Hub like Informatica Power Center. Is there any option to have this near future release?
I will take this down and I will probably get back to you. I'm not aware of the SAP connectivity enhancements that we have, but I can come back to you on this.
So we'll get back to you, Antuvan. Another question from Leo. What is the rollout schedule for Spring 2020?
So most of the environments have been already upgraded to the Spring release. So if you are anywhere on NA Pod 1, Pod 3, EMEA Pod, APJ, all of them have been upgraded over the last couple of weeks.
Okay. Next question from Shanti. What's the best way to see what are all the scheduled jobs? In Operational Insight, can I drill down the schedule metric and see the individual jobs?
So yes, this is part of our roadmap. So if you are using Informatica as a scheduler to schedule the jobs from the operational insights, now you will be able to see the number. And as part of our next release that is slated for Q3, we are looking to be able to drill down as well. So when you drill down, you will be able to see how these jobs are distributed across different runtime environments as well. So for now, we are able to give you the number of scheduled jobs. The drill down is available as part of the next release.
Okay. Next question from Shiv.
Yeah, sure.
Can we set up an alert for any long-running jobs or hung jobs in OPS Insight?
Thanks. Thanks for the question. This is something that we have in the roadmap. So for data integration jobs, we are coming up with job alerting capabilities as part of our Q3 release, where you will be able to set alerts specifically for long-running jobs. And you will also, we are also looking to have actions like where you can stop the task, if it's like an hung job, right? So those are capabilities that we are adding as part of the roadmap that will be available in the next release.
Okay. Another question from Joe. When will analytics be available?
The analytics for data integration jobs is or should already be available to your organizations, as I mentioned. We have rolled out the capabilities on all our environments. So all customers with data integration subscription would be having it. If for some reason it is not available in your org, you can always reach out to us and we will enable it.
Okay. Another question from Sri Hari. For OI, it only shows last week's history for an asset. Any plans to extend the time frame?
So we are looking to add, longer retention in the roadmap. For now, it's the last 30 days of history that we are able to see.
Okay. Next question from Antoine. Can we use Excel as a source directly in IICS?
Yes, we do have an Excel connector that can be used directly as a source.
Next question from Leo. How do you determine what version are you on?
So if you're looking for the secure agent version, you will be able to see that if you go to the administrator service and in your runtime environments, if you click on any of your runtime environments, you will be able to see the version that you're on. In general, whenever we have an upgrade, all of our customers are upgraded to the latest version that we have, depending on the schedule.
Okay. Another question from Shishu. Can we automatically send the profile result to any users?
So today we have the option to download the results. Being able to send it automatically is not something that is available out of the box. I will take a note of it. We will look at adding it.
Okay. Another question from Pradeep. Any common client tools to test connectivity from server, especially Azure, ADL, ADW, CRM, etc.?
So if I understand, if you are looking to do this as part of the runtime or connection creation, so connection creation, there is a test connection capability that we already have. I'm not very sure if that is the ask. So if you create a connection, there is a way to test the connections.
Okay. Next question from Leo. How do you get to mass ingestion task? Is this a separate subscription?
Yes, so the mass ingestion is a separate service that we have. There is an add-on subscription to the mass ingestion service. So we have file mass ingestion, database, and streaming mass ingestion, but they're a separate add-on service.
Okay. Next question from Sheshu. I think we have answered.
Hey, Vrinda, I'm not able to hear you. Yeah, there are a few more questions, so I will start answering them. The next question that I can see is, can we automatically send the proof?
Sorry, there was an interruption. I'll just start with the last question I've read. Can we automatically send the profile result to some users once the job is completed?
So we can send some of the job results automatically using the notification task as part of the task flow. So we have a notification task in the task flow, so you can use that to send some details about the job status, like the error rows, the success rows and details automatically as a email. But if you're looking at the operational insights profiling results that we said, no, that is not currently available.
Okay. Next question from Antuan. Is there any capability to reject the file and send as an attachment if the number of columns not match with the source structure?
So like I said, using the email or the notification step, you can send emails and there are also ways where you can share some links you can have the reject file uploaded and then you can share a link to that file in the email notification body. So this is something that can be achieved using a command task and an email notification task in the task flow.
Okay. But next question from Bino. Are there any API to use to get the mapping details, including transformation logic?
So there are no APIs to get the information for the transformation logic. The question on the data lineage and metadata usage, that will be available using the enterprise data catalog capabilities that we have. So currently Enterprise Data Catalog is an on-premise offering. We are also looking to bring that up as a service on the cloud on IICS, and once that is available, it's tentatively, we will have a preview end of this year or early next year, and that's when we'll be able to see the lineage, data lineage as well.
All right. Next question from Ashish.
Sure. Yeah, so thanks for this.
Shall I read the question, Meenakshi?
Yeah, can you read? Yeah, please read out this question.
Yeah. So what kind of latency we should expect, since the agent will capture the info from on-prem and then forward to cloud piece, and then after that alert will be sent back?
Sure. So the latency for alerting, we are looking at something, we want to do this at every 5 minutes interval. So the maximum latency that we are looking for alerting is 5 minutes. But current dashboards that you see are refreshed for on-premise, if Power Center jobs, the dashboards are refreshed every 15 minutes. For cloud, it's currently an hourly refresh, which we are bringing it down. Alerts, we expect it to be in a 5-minute interval.
Okay. Next question from Sam. Is there a way to get list of tasks, DSS, MT, etc., that use a particular connection?
So from the UI of the product, there is a way where you can go to the administrator service where you see the list of connections. If you look at the actions that are available to you for any particular connection, there is something called dependency. So show dependencies. If you click on that, there are 2 tabs that you will see. Which one says what are the tasks or assets that are using this connection? It will be called uses and used by. The used by will give you a list of all the tasks that are using this particular connection.
Okay. Another question from Antuan. Do we need to buy a separate license for Excel connector, or will it come with data integration?
Excel connector is a separate license. It is part of the tier connectors that we have. So it is a separate license. It is not out of the box with the data integration.
Okay. Next question from Pradeep. In cluster, how to know from which secure agent is running and where we can see these details?
So these details are available to you as part of the monitoring job details when you are running a serverless job. I assume this is for a serverless cluster. So this is available to you in the details in the job details page. So you will be able to see which secure agent was running and what was the cluster.
Okay. Next question. Is there any capability to reject the file and send as attachment if number of columns not matched with the source structure? Seems like Antuvan was not able to hear the answer. Meenakshi, can we repeat that answer?
Yeah, sure. So, like I said, we can achieve this with a combination of a command task and a notification task in the task flow. There is no straight, easy way to do this. It will be like a two-step process where you first have a command task, a script that does the logic of what you want, and then uploads the reject file somewhere, and then you can use the link to wherever the reject file is available as part of your email body. So this is something that is achievable using a command task and a notification task as part of the task flow.
Okay. One last question, Meenakshi. Can we use target file of one map as source to another map?
Yes, it can be done, and the way it would be done is in the process of a task flow. So if you can parameterize the source object for your second mapping, and that mapping parameter value can be obtained from the previous mapping. So this can be orchestrated using the task flow.
Okay. Looks like we have answered most of the questions, Meenakshi. If we fail to answer any of your questions, we'll get back to you after this presentation. There is one question. Can we answer that, Meenakshi? Can we attach any files as part of notification task?
So currently, no, the email notification task does not accept email attachments. But what we have tried for some of the customers is if you can upload it to a shared location, that link can be accessed through the email body. But attaching files as part of notification task is not supported.
Okay. There is one more question, Meenakshi. Hope you don't mind. Is the store dependencies option in connection action a separate license feature?
It is part of the data integration license itself. So if you have data integration edition, advanced edition, premium edition, if you are an older ICS customer, you should be able to see that feature.
Okay. So it looks like we don't have any more questions. So thanks for joining the webinar from different parts of the world. Hope everyone is all right at this testing time. Thank you for joining. We'll meet you during our next Tech Tuesdays. Thank you for the presentation, Meenakshi. Thanks a lot.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for taking the time to join. Thank you.